It's like God made us to appreciate beauty. Because maybe he appreciates beauty as well.
Connor.
What a concept.
Connor.
What?
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true.
Oh, I should have seen that coming.
Pop, pop. Bears. Beats. Battlestar.
Stay on target.
You can't handle the truth.
Stay on target.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
With great power comes great responsibility.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Oh, my word. Here we go.
You know what? You know why I'm bringing these silly sounds right now? This is silly sounds with Connor.
Awake.
Is because, yes, it's because this is one of the only things that keep me awake. But I also listened to a leadership, Craig Groeschel leadership podcast episode with Stephen Furtick.
Whoa.
That came out this last week. And Stephen
I
Furtick
bet that's fire.
talked about if you want to create energy in the room, one thing you can do is change your voice pitch. So you can kind of inflect your voice and kind of just bring a new energy. So that's why I'm like, yeah, just like kind of
doors and turn the lights.
that works too.
down
You
low.
can shift. You can just shift the energy. It's kind of just like
Actually, that
shifting.
kind of worked. Yeah,
That's what I'm
Connor.
Oh,
That's why I'm going to be presenting the rest of this podcast as Mickey Mouse.
Please don't.
welcome to the. I can't do it. Welcome to the
Actually-
96th Oscars episode.
Actually, it's an unvoiced version of Steamboat. It's a voiced version of Steamboat Willie.
Are we going to start this podcast anytime soon?
Bow. I could do Blues Clues. Blues Clues. All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. This is. Where was I going to start?
Were you going to introduce yourself or introduce the show?
I couldn't decide. I couldn't decide if I was going to start with the title of the show, if I was going to start with my name, or if I was going to start with the title of the podcast. And nothing came out because it's 9:45 at night, and we just watched 3.5 hours of the Oscars.
The Oscars.
You know what? You know what I can't decide?
What?
I can't decide whether you should live or die. Well, you'd probably go to heaven. I'm going to stop right there because I don't remember the rest of the lyrics.
Well,
It's a dark
farther
song.
than
It's
I
really
could.
messed up.
as a podcast that reviews a lot of movies, we have watched the Oscars. And
Which
who are
reviews
we?
movies?
We are Pop Culture Redemption.
Pop Culture Redemption.
And we are popping off tonight. So, my name's Connor.
My name's Jake.
I'm Jordan Summers, and I am unoriginal.
Yeah,
Yes, you are, my friend.
You are Cena-nuff, my friend.
You are Ken-nuff. Could you not Ken-splain to me right now?
Also, happy Mario Day.
Mario, recording episode.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I guess this is coming out in 2 days.
Yeah.
We're recording this on March 10th because the Oscars are on March 10th.
10th.
Do you want to explain to the audience what Mario Day is, Jordan?
March, MAR 10, 10, I-O,
like an
Mario. It looks like
Mario.
Mario. Nintendo has dubbed this day as Mario Day. I think they actually have some sales going on right now for some of the Mario
I bet.
games. They
Wow, look at
might be over by the time this podcast comes out. Might not. Just go check.
You don't
Or
know.
don't check. Save your money. Be smart and invest
Be
in
frugal.
stonks.
Stonks.
So, we are here to help the church have a better vision about God's presence and work in pop culture because we're Pop Culture Redemption.
Did you say pep?
We're Pop Culture Redemption. That's kind of what I do. Pep, pep.
hooray.
No, that guy got canceled. Can't talk about him anymore. We have a new episode that drops every Tuesday. You can subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Follow the show on social media platforms at Pop Culture Redemption or Pop CR Pod. And we have another great episode this week, as we mentioned already. We are covering the 96th Oscars Oscar Awards. Oscars. They used to be called the Academy Awards, and you give them Oscars, but now they're called the Oscars. It's kind of confusing a little
Who
bit.
is
Hold
Oscar?
on. What
Grouch.
did they do for those first 4 years?
What?
Because it's like the 100th anniversary of movies.
They
And you
just
said
didn't
this
have
is the
They didn't have the
96th.
Academy Awards.
So, okay.
Yeah, the first 4 years, they're like, this is kind of stupid.
This is the
What are we doing?
96th Academy Award, or Oscar Awards, excuse me, in the year 2024, covering movies released in 2023.
That's crazy.
So many numbers. Recap. So, again, we just watched three. Well, actually, we watched what?
He needs to recap.
Oh, yeah.
Recap, bruh.
I've got a recap. So, we're going to show off our wonderful Pop Culture Redemption cap.
Another shameless plug by
Another shameless plug.
Jacob Petker of
popcrstore.myspreadshop.com.
There you go.
I can say it even when I'm tired.
Get your good stuff. So if you want to support the show, help it grow, that's one way you can do it. So we appreciate that. Recap of the Oscars. The Oscars went 3.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
But we only watched 3 hours of them because we forgot. And
We?
by we, I mean me. Forgot that it started at 6 p.m. this year instead of 7. So we tuned in at like 6:40ish.
No, you said it was. You
And
said
it
it
was-
was 6, but
What?
you didn't realize it was 6 Eastern time.
No, it was 7 Eastern.
Oh yeah,
6 Central.
I'm caught
so,
up.
and we're
All
in
these
Central
numbers,
time.
man.
So we missed the first 30 minutes. So we pretty much just missed Jimmy Kimmel's opening monologue, which I was kind of bummed about, but we can watch it on YouTube later. So it'll be fine. We'll be okay. But here are some of the highlights from the Oscars as far as results. So the biggest winner tonight, I don't think comes as a surprise. It is Oppenheimer. They were nominated for 13 different categories, and they won 7 of them. So Oppenheimer
over half.
tonight took Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr., Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Original Score, Best Actor, Cillian Murphy, Best Director, Christopher Nolan, and Best Overall Picture. So, surprise second, a movie I had not heard about before tonight that I am now
Poor Things?
very, very interested in watching. Yes, Poor Things. So, Poor Things won 4 different categories: production design, costume design, makeup and hairstyling, and Best Actress, Emma Stone. Big fan of Emma Stone.
Where did Barbie end up on this?
Barbie only won one category, which I'm not sure if it was a category, but
it
they
was.
won the best song.
Billie Eilish?
Billie Eilish won best song. I don't know how that works for sure.
I think
but-
it's the movie.
Is it the movie?
Why would they do it at the Oscars if it wasn't?
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so Barbie won. They were nominated in a lot of different categories, but they only won one. Killers of the Flower Moon was nominated in a bunch of different categories, and they didn't take any Oscars home, which was interesting.
That's a bummer.
Overall, best, I think we named all of these, but Best Actor, these are the 4 big ones that they do at the end of the show. Best Actor was Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer. Best Actress was Emma Stone, Poor Things. Interesting to note, Margot Robbie, not nominated for Best Actress.
From Barbie.
Best Director was Christopher Nolan, and Best Picture was Oppenheimer. So, as we dive into tonight's Oscars reaction, we're kind of keep it loose a little bit.
That's why
So-
we're even doing it on the couch.
I know we're in the living room style.
It's
We're kinda
relaxed
leaning
vibes.
back. Got some comfy chairs here.
Digging it.
Just chilling, kicking it back.
I want to give one preface of warning. One of the movies is Poor Things. If you decide that it was one of those big pictures that a lot of people talked about and it won a lot of awards, and it's clearly made its cultural impact, right?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Try that again.
Wow.
I was
just
muting
muted
myself.
him.
Okay. Viewer discretion is advised for Poor Things. Viewer discretion is advised. That's all I'm. That's
Not
all
a family friendly story then?
I'll leave that up to the parents to decide.
Gotcha.
Use
I mean,
discernment.
You could probably say that about most of the movies.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, like
Oppenheimer
Killers of the
included.
Flower Moon, viewer discretion advised for different reasons, but then Oppenheimer.
Maybe we should talk
I
about
think,
that.
Oppenheimer, yep, one of them, which we've already covered all of that on our Oppenheimer episode number 23, I think. Oppenheimer, check it out. It's great on Pop Culture Redemption. That's us. Tonight we're gonna do general reactions first to just the overall broadcast ceremony, those kind of pieces, and then we'll do maybe a reaction to either awards, whether you agree or maybe you felt like someone or some picture got snubbed. And then overall, we'll do a redeem of the movie industry towards the end.
We're not going to do like a rejoice, reject, redeem.
I mean, we can work that into. Let's go first to just talking about the broadcast ceremony, just taking part of that, the transitions, all that pieces of the Oscars itself.
Yeah, I'm curious because this was my first time ever watching the Oscars. What about you guys?
I have seen pieces of the Oscars. I haven't ever watched it all the way through because, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
3.5 hours.
Like,
And
I've
that's-
only seen like clips, like the slappening from last year, the slap heard around the world.
Yeah.
But that was basically it.
The slappening.
The Oscars.
Nothing that drastic happened this year.
The Oscars are the Super Bowl for movies.
Yes.
Yes.
Like it's a big time suck commitment to engage the whole thing, and it's a really big cultural moment that tons of people gather around together to talk about and think through and engage in, and people tend to hope that their thing wins, their team or their movie or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. Interesting. I thought there was a lot of elements of like the Oscars itself that I think is worth rejoicing, and that I think like church, take notes if you're not already doing it.
Okay.
Because like, first of all, the thing that just kept sticking out to me was like the actual like Oscar actor awards, and how they would have previous award winners come in and just speak encouragement over the nominees, whether or not they won. Like, I just thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it speaks to like, it speaks to above the competition of being the best, and acknowledging one, the hard work that was put into each and every one of those actors or actresses jobs. Like, but also to like the character of the people themselves and the hard work that they put into it. Like, I just thought like, dude, we should be taking notes on that. Why can't like we should be striving to be that encouraging for each other.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was brilliant.
Jake, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate
Jordan,
you.
I like your beanie.
I do too. I love this beanie. This beanie is one of my favorite pieces of clothing that I own.
And Connor, I like your shirt.
Thanks.
Where'd you
Connor-
get it?
Pop, baby.
Connor, I like your beard. Like, I genuinely really like your beard.
It's good facial hair.
It is.
Thank
Yours
you.
too.
I appreciate that. I really liked Nicolas Cage when he was talking to I forgot that actor's name, but he was one of the people nominated for Best Actor, and he was talking about how he wore a contact that gave him a lazy eye for the character he's playing, and he was like, and he wore that lazy eye the whole time he was acting, whether he's in character or out of character. And Nick Cage was like, "Is that something I would do? Hell yeah!" And you did it too, or something like that. Like, he was just super pumped about it, and it was hilarious. So I loved all of that. I think that, like, yeah, what you were talking about too is really cool when you could tell, because some of them were pretty scripted, but some of them were like, you could tell that those two
There was a personal
actors
connection.
or actresses had like a personal connection.
Yeah.
And those were really, I really thought that was special.
Yeah, you could also see with the actors, maybe I'm just observing a little bit too much, but you could see how much those movies meant to them. Like, I'm thinking, I don't know any of these people names, but just like some of them were like, maybe it's just the movie itself or the person speaking it to him. Like, you could tell it was moving them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, we should be doing that ourselves. Isn't that kind of like what being the church is all about?
I mean, it's incredibly affirming to have somebody that has been in your shoes, that knows the struggles and the things that you go through on a regular basis.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's like to have somebody that's gone ahead of you in something to look back and encourage you and say, hey, you have done really big and hard work. Like, good job. Here's some of the things that you do, and here's some of the light, or like the positive things that you have brought into the world, the good that I see in you.
Yeah.
Right. And that would apply to anybody, not just actors. That, and then, not just, I'll even say, like, not even just people in the faith, right? Like, encouraging
People.
from, older brothers and sisters who encourage us in the faith to keep going forward, right? But even, a carpenter who encourages another, like, who's like a seasoned carpenter who's like one of the best in the state or whatever.
Jesus.
But like somebody who, like, all right, because you've ruined my example, I'm now going to go to a fry cook.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. But like somebody who's been like, hey man, like I've been doing fry cook stuff for 20 years, and this is my thing. I love this, and I see that in you, and you have done such a good job in this last year, and I see the hard work you've put in and how much passion you actually have for this job. You make fast food look like a dream job, and like that kind of thing, right? So when there's somebody that knows our thing or the things that we do and go through really well, and they speak encouragement into that, and we can receive that knowing that they've been there and they're genuinely saying it and meaning it, there's a lot of affirmation in that. There's a lot of healing and beauty in that. And it honestly, it can be a healing moment because it speaks to a lot of the hardships that you can go through in the midst of, whatever thing.
Well, I think not like it also gives strength. And I think let's push this the one step further, that yes, it's great to celebrate in the good days, but oftentimes we need that affirmation, we need that encouragement in the middle of the rough spots. Like when I had first started being a barista, the most encouraging thing I was ever told was on my worst day during training. And it was by, my coworker, Brooklyn. And I went back into the kitchen and was basically at the verge of tears because I was so stressed. And she came up to me because she had it was Starbucks morning. So 7 through 9 a.m. You take the new guy and you put them at the cafe register so that they don't get in anybody's way. And I kept doing that. And so she was one of the people that had snapped at me because it's the stress of peak, right? And she came up to me in the kitchen afterward and she just said dude, I've been there. Give it 90 days before you decide to leave or do anything. Just don't make a decision. Stick through it because I've been in your shoes. And when you get past that 90-day mark, it will feel so much more natural. We need that kind of encouragement from people like you're saying who have been in their spots before, but not just in the great things, but also in the dude, this sucks. I know it sucks and it's gonna get better.
I think too, something to consider. I think oftentimes people make assumptions about Hollywood and the movie industry and about people that are in Hollywood, right? Actors, actresses. You might have some assumptions about their intent or about how authentic or inauthentic they're being. And I think it's important for us to be generous with people, and to remember that all the people that we saw tonight that were nominated and that were up for awards and that got awards, they are people and they have genuine thoughts, feelings, emotions about an award, similar to how any one of us would have similar thoughts, feelings, emotions if we were to get awards or recognition in our areas that we really invest our time and effort into. So I just affirm that, and I rejoice in those actors, actresses being recognized for their good work, or even costume design and editing, and the team that won the best. Oh, I don't remember what it was called, but the best graphic design or whatever.
Effects.
The
Godzilla
-1. Yeah. Just to see the genuine joy of those people, even though I didn't understand a lot of what was being said, I could tell that, man, that was really, really a huge, huge deal for that team. And you just couldn't help but feel really excited for them. And to just see that genuine excitement, that genuine emotion reminds us that these are real people, just like we're real people. And I think oftentimes when we see them on the big screen or we can, just catch a tabloid, or we can have a certain you can hear different critiques and commentaries on them because they're so famous and they're so in the limelight that everybody's got an opinion about everything that everybody does, right? That we miss the point that these are people, these are real people, and that they are created in the image of God. They are loved by God, that God desires them in the same way that he desires us. And so I rejoice in all that, and I just want us to, as believers for the church, I want the church to view them as people, not as political idealists or whatever, not their, I don't want you to view them as their political ideology, or I don't want people to view them as the stuff that they create, but that they're real people, and that these are genuine experiences that they're having tonight at this award show. So I really enjoyed a lot of them, especially the ones that this is their first time winning, and you could tell that dang, this is a career accomplishment. This is a big
Billie
deal.
Eilish's acceptance speech, where she's just oh my God, what's going on? I had this exact nightmare this was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because I think of Billie Eilish, and she's just a 22-year-old kid, young adult, whatever. And I think of friends I know that are that age, and I think of man, if that person that I know had won this,
Yeah.
I can imagine they would be having these same human emotions and
Yeah.
experiences, and just like really humanizing Billie Eilish in that moment.
Yeah, dude, Emma Stone
Yeah.
with her acceptance speech, like, oh, dude, it gave me chills because it's like, oh, there's so many times in pop culture where somebody says something or does something where it's just like you are so close to the truth. Because I had to write this down. This is not word for word, but she said it's not like this award. It's not about me, and she also made the effort to then bring up the other nominees and say I am in awe of you. Which one was beautiful. But two, she said it's not about me. It's about the team of people creating something that grew bigger than any individual part. Like Jesus, Church, Holy Spirit,
Church. Yeah.
It's the reminder for. I mean, I just think about like creatives in the church that can often feel used for their talents. Overused or abused by the churches because of their talents and their skills. Sometimes there are just honest toxic environments, but it's good to remember that what we do, the time we put in, the blood, sweat, and tears that we shed over this, over the art that we're making, whether it's songwriting, whether it's graphic design and marketing, whether it's worship and singing, like. It's not just for the music. It's not just for the graphics. It's not just for the smiling faces who walk in the church. We are all a part of something that grows much bigger than us when we do it in alignment with the Lord.
I think that with that quote too from Emma Stone, I wrote that down too. She said a team can come together and make something better than the sum of its parts.
Oh, that's what it was.
I think that one, as musicians, we recognize that as we're like. Of course, when we play like a band or a orchestra or anything where we're combining multiple instruments, voices, different pieces together, that the thing that we create is greater than the thing that we could each individually add on our own type of deal. And that, like you said, that reminds us of the reality of being the body of Christ in the church as well. Yeah. That, hey, we are better together.
Always.
We're better unified.
Listen,
under the head who is Christ. Like
the enemy's lies always seek to isolate us. Always.
Yeah. And that humility that she displayed in that praise of the team of people that she worked with, and just naming the reality of, like when you win best whatever category it is, you are relying on the other pieces of the creative team. Everything else has to come together as well. And these specific categories are specific actor, actress, a director, whatever, that they do kind of rise above the rest of the film, maybe in their contribution, because maybe it is so excellent, or they're in the right spot at the right time to really put in an incredible performance, type of deal. But that performance isn't recognized without excellence in the rest of what everyone else is applying. It's like a sporting team, any sports team that has like a star player or something. Yeah, that star player is not going to win anything meaningful.
It's not just Mahomes,
right? They're not going to win anything meaningful without the consistent and the excellent contribution of the rest of their team.
Yeah,
and you can tell when they play, they're the best player, but they're not going to win anything without teammates that are also excellent. And so just her acknowledging the rest of the team, specifically for Poor Things, and their contribution, I think showed another layer of humility. So just another reason I think Emma Stone's the best. So she's the best.
Jordan, did you have something to say?
I just, whenever you said that being in the right place at the right time, that kind of thing, I just started thinking about actors and other roles that they should not have been cast in. And then I imagined Danny DeVito as Gandalf.
You shall not pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite the same gusto.
Yeah,
Danny DeVito
standing
on that bridge in front of the
but
I am not
rock.
a conjurer of Cheap Trick.
Right? Okay, but also like Danny DeVito could have delivered some of the amazing like insults that Gandalf gave. Like, keep your forked tongue behind your teeth.
Absolutely. I really appreciated
Marsha.
Jersey Mike's a sub above. Okay, anyways. He's the Jersey Mike's like spokesperson, right? I just see him on all the Jersey Mike's commercials. The guy that won the original score, you knew who he was.
Ludwig von Göransson.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, dude, this is the same guy that brought us the music for Black Panther, The Mandalorian, Tenet, and now Oppenheimer. So good.
Yeah, so that guy, at the end of his acceptance speech after winning a well-deserved award, he thanked his parents. It was kind of like he was like walking off the microphone, so I don't know if a lot of people caught this, but he was like, thanked his parents for giving him guitars and drum machines instead of video games.
Amen.
And I mean, like, video games aren't bad, but I was like, yep, that's my experience. Like, I really stuck with music. I mean, like, my parents gave me video games, and I'm appreciative of that. So thanks, Mom and Dad, for all the different iterations of PlayStation that you gifted me over the years. I appreciate that.
My parents loved me. They gave me both when they gave me Guitar Hero.
Well, there you go. That's right. That's right. Guitar Hero.
I'm not kidding about getting Guitar Hero, but yeah.
No, but I think, and there was somebody else that had a comment about, what was the
music programs?
Yeah. He won.
Yeah.
They won
best documentary short
or something like
yeah,
that.
I wrote that down too.
And
He said something along the lines of like creating good music programs is more than just creating good musicians. It's about creating good people.
Yeah, and just the acknowledgement specifically for their context of the LA public schools that offer instruments or something like that, free instruments and to use and stuff like that to invest in the arts in that way. And I think that was really impactful. And I as someone who not just like singing and like playing guitar was big, but just being in concert band and jazz band and marching band in school growing up was a huge part of specifically my high school experience, but also my middle school and my college experience. As far as like, I played saxophone for a long time. And that, when I think of high school and of the life lessons that I learned and leadership, and obviously I'm a musician now and I'm full time as a church musician.
You're a musician?
I know, right? Surprise! It was hugely formational for me to be in all those programs. So I just want to champion a little, hey, it makes sense that the three musicians are championing the arts to remain in public schools, type of deal. And to not just like leave it as like, oh, it's a side thing, but like as a really critical part of a lot of students, not just education, but their formation as people, which is exactly what that guy talked about. I was like, you better preach.
Yeah,
you better preach.
Science program
and
totally needs that.
It's a skill that many people will take till they die. Like, you know what I mean? You can play guitar, you can play an instrument, you can sing until the day you die, as opposed to like, athletics where you can play, but you're gonna age out of being able to play. And you can put in all this time and investment into club sports and youth sports and high school sports, and it's all good. I'm not saying it's bad, but if you think that that's going to like be something that's maybe going to really like be a huge part of your life for your whole life, statistically, it's not going to be, because statistically, we're not all like the number of athletes that are, as kids and going through high school, our chances are you're not going to play in college.
It's funny you say that. For one thing, I have had this exact conversation at work a lot.
Yeah.
So I have a general rule of thumb for myself. Never trust a gray head with a guitar. What I mean by that is if there's an old man who comes into the store, or like, I'm just like in a context where there's an older guy and then he picks up a guitar, I just have learned to not have any expectations for what's about to happen. Because so many times my mind is just blown and they start shredding.
That is not where I thought you were going.
No. Like I am always like when I see a gray head pick up a guitar, they're usually really stinking good. And then there's a handful they're like, oh, okay, like I can tell that you play a little bit here and there, but like this wasn't really your thing. But most of the time it's like, oh, you are better than me.
You
by a long, you are amazing at guitar.
Okay, here's a question for the group. Who did you feel like was the most deserving winner tonight? As you watch the different categories and the different people or groups that walked away with an Oscar win, which one, like, you were like, yeah, they deserve that one?
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For those who did not watch and maybe are going to watch after seeing, or at least see parts of it, because again, it's 3.5 hours. The thing that did it for me was whenever the Ukraine team, so the 20 days in I'm not even gonna try.
Mariposa.
Yeah, it's short. It's a documentary about the war in Ukraine, and the team went up there, and basically he said, "I'm probably going to be the only one here on this that comes on this stage to say it, but I wish I hadn't had to make this movie." And then he goes on. He said, "I would easily trade this award for peace in our nation. I would easily trade this award for Russia to have never invaded our lands." And he keeps going and going and going. And it's like, that man, because his whole point at the end was, I wish I hadn't had to make this movie, but the story needs to be heard. And that man does, like, that whole team deserves it.
And that is the heart of a good documentary team.
Yeah, a real documentary too. We're talking about real documentaries, not like,
Oppenheimer?
No, not even Oppenheimer. I'm talking about like self-promo, like weird sports quote unquote documentaries that are being made right now, where the athlete that the documentary is about gets all creative design over the documentary, and you're like, that's not a documentary. That's a
self-marketing
That's an
campaign.
advertisement.
So anyway, sorry, that's another rant. You get late night Connor, you get some ranting apparently.
It's because it's old man Connor.
Was that the same one for you, Jordan? Did you have a different?
I mean, yeah, I agree.
Agree with that one?
Yeah.
I disagree. No, I don't disagree with what you said. But for me, the obvious winner was the best song by Billie
Yeah.
Eilish.
Billie Eilish,
That was my other
yes.
thought. I was going
Yeah.
to say Billie Eilish, but I do think, I think Ukraine, I think that does stand
Like,
out in this
yeah.
really unique way. I do absolutely 110% think Billie Eilish.
Her performance was real. It was honest. It was great.
Yeah, and I felt like even when that song was out this year, that was a song that I'd keep come back listen to. Like, and not a whole lot of songs. Like, they played the other songs in other movies, and they were fine. They were good songs, right? They like the Ken crew came out and gave it was a great performance. It was a really fun performance, and they did a great job. But I mean, none of the other songs, in my opinion,
Jordan has nothing to say about the "I'm Just Ken" performance.
None of those held a candle to that song. What was I made for by Billie Eilish? And I think too, just as a trained vocalist who also coaches vocalists, if you're looking for a great whisper sound, she is the best at whisper sound, like vocal performance technique, whisper sound singing. She is. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it takes my breath away when I hear her sing any stuff.
No pun intended.
Any of this stuff. It's like,
wow.
I'm like, man, that is really, really impressive. And it's a cool thing because I watched an interview with her and Phineas once, and they talked about how one of their philosophies for recording is that they don't use pitch correction. So she doesn't use pitch correction.
So that's just her raw
at all.
Ooh, that's talent.
Yeah, she's crazy talented. Very, very talented. So
Jordan has nothing to say about the Ken performance, which was the highlight of his night.
Look, Slash, one of the greatest guitarists of our time, okay? It was really funny because I'm like, okay, here's the Ken song. Oh, that's right. This is the song that Slash did the guitar solo for. Well, Slash, I could see Slash getting up and doing the song live for the Oscars for this. I could see him being here and doing this. It's a very like Slash thing to do, to be a part of stuff like this.
yeah.
So it got closer. I'm like, oh, maybe not, because he's got this new album that he's working on and coming out, and he might be busy with that. Then he pops up, and I'm like, yes, my man, yes.
Slash has appeared. Didn't he do a Super Bowl halftime show? But he was like playing guitar while was it Fergie was on?
It was because the halftime show was the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
And so Slash came out and did that with Fergie. But in all fairness, do you happen to know what year that was?
No, it was a while ago, but for some reason that just was in the back of my mind.
Well, so
I mean, it was at least back whenever Black Eyed Peas was, well, relevant.
I don't know. I feel like they get people who are just on the other side.
2011.
Okay, see, that makes sense.
That's on the edge of like their relevancy.
Well, it makes sense that it was 2011 because in 2010, Slash put out a solo album called Slash. It was just, but it was an all-star album where he got tons of like every song except there were 2 songs that had the same vocalist, but every other track on that album had a different singer, and one of them was Fergie.
I'm sorry.
Well, there you go.
I just spent the entire time because you called it an all-star album.
They don't stop
Just
coming,
like-
and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't
Like
stop coming.
it's just like an album with 12 tracks, and it's just him playing All Star by Smash Mouth at a different
Somebody
time.
once
every
told
time.
me the world. Yeah. Also, fun
sorry.
fact: Usher was featured in that halftime performance as well
Oh, in the
in 2012
Yeah.
or 11, whenever. Yeah.
2011, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that was we should do a podcast about the Super Bowl.
Maybe you should go check out our
Oh wait,
episode
we did do that.
about the Super Bowl.
Episode 22.
You should go check that out.
I'm feeling 22. Oh wait, that's like Taylor
That's the
Swift.
next
That's,
episode where we talk
way
about
previous. Oh no, I was singing a Taylor Swift song. 22.
I was also
Oh,
thinking,
22.
yeah, but we were talking about that in the next episode when we do the movie Soul.
Priscilla
Sneak peek.
is off camera doing stuff, and she was the only one that got my 22 reference.
I got your 20. I just wanted to do another
Did you
shameless
though?
plug.
Did
I know
you get it?
Yeah.
Priscilla's like, I don't think you got it. I don't think you got
you're
it.
supposed to be on my side.
It's okay.
Hey,
The God of
we talked
Angel
about
Arms
honor
is
and
always by
honesty
your side.
a lot recently on the pod,
Wow.
right?
Wow. Wow.
Just getting real up in here. All right. Did you feel like there were any snubs? Did
Define
anyone,
snub, please.
someone who either wasn't nominated or didn't get an award that you felt like should have been nominated or should have gotten an award?
I have no idea because I don't know.
Someone nominated undeserved, bub. Snub.
Bup, 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 bup.
I can't believe you just made that up on the spot. Like, I know you did, which is why I'm impressed, but I can't believe you just made that up on the spot.
I have one.
Okay. Was it Margot?
Yeah.
What's her face from Barbie?
Yeah. Margot Robbie.
Robbie.
I think it's really interesting that the female lead of a movie that was largely about celebrating,
Femininity.
and just women and culture and equal rights and all that kind of stuff, and was, a movie that was very socially critical about the state of how things are in the United States, have been, and how they are slowly changing, but not, at a rate that many would hope for. That movie, that their lead wasn't even nominated.
Who did a great job.
And it was like one of the top box office films of not this year, but this decade.
Jake,
And-
I want to challenge that thought. Did she though?
I thought she did a good job.
I think she did an okay job.
I thought she did great.
I mean,
I liked
like,
her performance. I thought it was very relatable.
Stereotypical Barbie.
I think if she fit the role, perfectly fine. But when I think of like
I see where you're going.
Oscar-worthy performance of an actress,
You're performing so much more out of your character, and like you're having to go the extra mile to perform in that role.
well, it's just I don't have a good comparison off the top of my head. It's like if you have really, really good apple juice, and it's like, oh yeah, this apple juice, it's really hitting the spot. This is what I really needed right now. But really good apple juice is not the same as a pristine, beautiful, awesome apple, right?
Okay.
Like the flavor might be really similar between the two, but there's one that's just like, oh yeah, this is like the thing. This is the genuine article, right? There's like a different, it's just a completely different class to it. Even though they're both apple-y. I don't know. It's a weird comparison, but I just when I think of how she when I think of the job she did acting in that movie, it was like, yeah, she fit the role, but it wasn't. It was like, yeah, this is good. This is enjoyable. Like, but it wasn't like, amazing. Like, man, she did an awesome, like, mind-blowing job. Like,
Yeah.
I
see
don't
what you
think
mean.
I don't think I heard anybody talk about how she did this mind-bending, like, amazing job
Right.
with this, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's probably why she didn't get nominated.
I do
And
see your irony, though.
I'm not by any stretch of the imagination great at, like, critically evaluating how well an actress does or doesn't do in a movie. By absolutely no means.
Just got canceled.
Okay, if that's what it like. If
Why would he get canceled? Didn't the Oscars get canceled? They were the ones that didn't nominate
That's
her.
fair. Yeah, you're right.
I
I'm
should
sure
have
there won't be any backlash for that at all.
I should have gotten canceled a long time ago. Like, I should have probably been canceled episode 1. Like, if I'm going to ever be canceled,
No, I'm remembering your intro to one of the Taylor Swift
yeah,
episodes
see,
where you're
that's
like,
another-
Avril Lavigne was better, and then walked off stage. Like,
is
just
better, but yes.
Yeah, what I don't know what exactly you said, but it was
just-
something along those lines.
I just think that sometimes these kind of awards kind of things, they miss the history of a moment.
Mm.
You know, like, I don't know. I mean, like, you can have conversations about this, but like a big like Oscars thing that comes to mind is when Moonlight beat La La Land for Best Picture. The year that, yeah, and
I don't
you're
even
like,
know Moonlight,
that's my point. That's exactly my point. It's because Moonlight was great and it was really good.
but La La Land was on another level.
Yeah, La La Land is a movie that we will come back. We will like continue to come back to for, you know, I don't
Decades.
know, ever isn't the right phrase, but it was like that big of a moment
well, because like
in culture and in
Yeah.
society. And so I just think that I'm not saying she should have won Best Actress. I don't think she should have. But I just thought it was really, really, really strange
there's no nomination.
that she wasn't even nominated.
Mm,
Because it's not, I mean, like, I don't know much about acting or, you know, the movie industry and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard for me to, like, I mean, you know, I can like watch a movie and be like, oh, I don't feel like they did a great job, or I feel like they did a great job, or whatever. But just the moment that happened and the central role that she played, I just think that to not be nominated was, I thought that was just kind of a miss. Not just like her performance wise or lack thereof, whatever, but because of the the historical moment that Barbie played in our movie culture this year. I was just like, she wasn't even nominated.
I will say, getting my dad to watch that movie was really funny.
I'm sure.
Because I remember whenever Priscilla and I went home, was it last summer? I don't know, sometime. We tried to get, like, we were talking because it was after we'd started the podcast, and he had heard that we did the Barbie episode, and he listened to the Barbie episode, and his comment was like, I didn't get anything in the episode. It's like, that's because you didn't watch the movie. And we're trying to get him to watch the movie. He's like, I don't want to watch Barbie. I don't want to watch Barbie. But then we finally got him to watch it, and he loved it.
Yeah.
Not just because it was witty, not just because it was funny, but because it actually had like a good message, and he heard it, and I think it moved him a little bit. Like, it's a solid, eye-opening movie.
Yeah. It's just a really solid, when we talked about that movie, right? It's a really solid social critique.
Our
Like,
guest on
whether
that
or not
episode's-
you like completely agree with everything that it either pushes for or that are surrounding it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean of what it's pushing for, but you know, we can have conversation about that. But just as an artistic social critique, excellent.
You should go check out that episode. Our
really
guest
well
on
done.
that episode, she's pretty cute.
And we're not going to say anything. So
It's my wife.
it's a trap.
You should ask her out.
I should ask her out.
If you think.
Hey, babe, are you single? She won't. She didn't give me an answer. I'll try again later.
What is she, a magic 8-ball?
Yeah. I have a little bit of a reject.
Go for it, John Cena. Oh, is that not where you're going? Sorry, that's where I thought you were going.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, da, 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 da.
What did you say while we were watching? We John Cena everything on him.
John Cena-nuff, man. Let me tell you. My
Oh,
goodness.
yes, we can go there because it's kind of connected. Well, never mind. Can we stop normalizing nudity and sex, please? Because that was my other thing, which is what in the world are we celebrating here with the best picture, the best like leading actor, the best like the Oppenheimer, the one that took away so many awards. What are we really celebrating in this movie?
I understand that it was a really uncomfortable moment in that movie. I don't think any of the nudity scenes had anything to do with why that movie won all the stuff that it did.
I get it. I just because like also those sex scenes in that movie artistically is brilliant. But to then go off of like I'm mainly thinking about the scene in the hearing. Like that scene.
Yeah.
With the uncomfortable eye contact. Like that that filled its purpose. It did exactly what it was supposed to do, which is make you insanely uncomfortable. And so artistically speaking, like you knew exactly what Oppenheimer's wife was thinking and feeling in that moment. You know exactly what she was thinking and feeling. But then to pair it, like just to me, to pair that then with the John Cena thing, can we please stop normalizing this crap? This is ridiculous. The body is worth honoring and respecting. Mm-hmm. And you're not making that night any better or any worse by showing a nude wrestler on stage. So why is it necessary?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to change.
I don't think it is either. It's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was your other critique?
That, like my critique was like the Oppenheimer, what are we celebrating?
Oh, gotcha.
Because also like if it's not the nudity, we're celebrating violence. But also like the thing I can at least rejoice in that what we're celebrating is what Jordan you had talked about when we talked about Oppenheimer. The
tension.
The tension of a creator needs to wrestle with what he or she is creating and why he or she is creating it.
Also, we as people who either benefit or disbenefit or who receive the creation, right? I think we also have we have a responsibility of what we do with other people's creations and how we receive them. Mm-hmm. But also, we have to process other people's, like, we have to process the responsibility of other people's responsibility to.
There's so many layers to this.
I know. Because like I said on that podcast, right? Is God responsible for evil in the world, even though it's his creation that?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And so we can't just say you're responsible for the stuff that you've created. Yeah. That's not necessarily true.
No, but like you had the point on the episode of like it's still something the creators should ask themselves and wrestle with. Yep. Like, no, you can't. I can't control if our podcast episodes are used to like are weaponized and used against somebody. But like, you think about like God knows everything. He knew we were going to be knuckleheads and try to choose our own goodness and try to choose our own priorities and create our own things. But he weighed it against I can't speak for God. I imagine he weighed it against the restoration and redemption story and the intimacy that we get to know the Lord and not just know the Lord, but spend our entire lives getting to know the Lord rather than just the one moment we're created, nothing's wrong, we know everything about him, he knows everything about us. Now we get to spend our entire lives, our pain is repurposed for better things, and we get to know the Lord the more and more we walk with him. Like when you weigh that against each other, there's a lot of bad things that happens, but there's also beauty in the restoration of those bad things.
I have another snub to submit for consideration.
Cool, because I don't think Jordan and I have any.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Was that 23?
Yep.
What?
Nothing.
That was 23?
Yep.
Dang.
May 20th.
And it got nothing.
23.
Was that past the cutoff date for the Oscars?
May 20th. I mean, yeah, that's like
I don't know when the cutoff date
before.
Okay.
I mean, it's like pretty much the calendar 2023.
Hold up. You know what we didn't see?
What?
Animated. Was that before we got to watch? Because I don't remember seeing who won animated film of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a best animated feature film.
Film.
Hold on.
We're doing something.
Yeah, it was nominated this year.
Okay.
But it did not win.
Who won?
The Boy and the Heron.
The
No
Boy
idea
and the
what that is.
I don't either. So
Interesting.
nominations: The Boy and the Heron, Nimona, not Pneumonia, Nimona, Robot Dreams, Elemental, and Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, Elemental too. That one was great. That one didn't win either.
I mean, if Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse didn't win, then
Yeah, it's fair.
Elemental wasn't going to win. But yeah, I have no
Jeez.
idea.
Hmm.
So, all right, never mind. I mean, I think they should have won that category, but I don't know The Boy and the Heron, so I mean, like, I guess I can't.
Okay, I know. I understand exactly why it didn't win now. The person who made
The Boy and the
the
Heron.
Boy and the Heron, that was Hayao. I'm not gonna butcher this name. Hayao Miyazaki. Miyazaki was the director of Studio Ghibli.
Oh, that helps. That makes sense.
Or is the director of Studio Ghibli. Like,
Studio Ghibli's kind of known for their high quality stuff.
Spirited Away, Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke. I can never pronounce that one right. Castle in the Sky, Ponyo, Kiki's Delivery. Like,
I don't recognize a single one of those.
Yeah.
in the animation world, he's one of the legends. He's one of the greats.
Gotcha. So everything he touches turns to gold.
Kind of.
Gotcha.
Like, he's a pretty big he's a pretty big deal. So
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie. I hadn't even heard about it, but it does not surprise me at all.
That's
that,
fine.
that he won.
I'm willing to forgive that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just telling you that there's a lot of stuff on here as I search Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse snub that people are upset that they did not win.
It should have.
That's what I'm saying.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is.
It's. I mean, it just depends on the Oscars evaluation criteria,
Yeah.
right? Because if you talk about if you're putting more weight on cultural significance, then perhaps it
Yeah.
should have won. But if you're putting it more on, if you have like, more objective criteria that you're using to evaluate the excellence, which is also important because you can't just make every decision on what was most popular, then, so I can understand that, give or take.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes I'm like, yeah, but I mean, that thing was a bigger deal in a majority of culture, not necessarily for all of culture, but, or at least maybe for the plebs
Yeah.
like me. So,
And me.
who don't,
But if you
who
want
don't
to hear how
understand
much
the whole
we love that movie, you should go check
whole
out
animated
episode
6, baby.
for Across the
Episode
Spider-Verse.
6.
And if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, you should listen to our 5th episode. so
Episode
you can then listen
5.
to our 6th episode. And then, well, you should probably watch the movies first.
Be a good call.
I have a guess who might win the
Next year.
animated Oscar in 2027.
Who?
Illumination's new Mario movie.
Illumination.
There's going to be another one?
There's going to be another one.
Is this a sequel?
Nobody knows much info right now. All we know is that it's going to be somewhere in the expanding Mario universe.
Ooh, that's fancy.
All right, so we're coming to the end of this episode. Let's do. Anybody got anything to redeem from? You could just generally speak about the movie, the current state of the movie industry, if you would like, or you can use something specifically from the Oscars ceremony tonight.
I've already hinted at, like, I've already basically said my piece, but it's the very intentionally loving community that I saw tonight. Of people who gave honor and respect to the nominee, like the award winners who gave the respect and honor to their nominees, their fellow nominees. It's the people who were speaking encouragement in life over the nominees themselves, whether or not they even won. Like, and the general love that we saw of the nominees, like, to the winners. Like, I just saw a loving community that was willing to accept each other and celebrate each other's victories rather than dwell in their own defeats. So I thought that was brilliant. Like, the church, take notes, because so often we can get bitter looking at someone else's success rather than seeing the impact. Like, kind of like Emma Stone said tonight. Like, it's all about pieces being a part of something big that outgrows each individual part.
Yeah.
I don't have the same reach as Stephen Furtick. Or Craig Groeschel, or Andy Stanley.
Not yet.
Don't even.
This podcast is on the rise, baby. Just kidding.
It's so weird if, like, 10 years from now we look back at this and like, oh yeah, that was when we weren't famous, and we're like, I don't even like
I don't want to think
Don't you
about
put that on us, Ricky Bobby? Don't you put that
But
on
like,
me?
we can complain and we can look at the bad in all of the people who are actually like who have the big influence but are just doing the Lord's work. And we can choose to only see the bad and then just throw them out. Throw all the good they do out with their I don't know, human flaws that we all have. Or we can choose to celebrate that somebody else is using their voice to influence a lot of people towards Jesus. So that's my thing.
Yeah. Jordan, you got anything?
Yeah, I would like to redeem this celebration of art. Because that's ultimately what the Oscars are, right? It's the celebration of, by their evaluation and critique and their ideas of, like, you know, evaluation,
good
what
arts.
really good art and beauty is, right? And that is a sign that beauty and art is valuable and important in our culture still, and that it's like a big part of culture. I think that the arts, you know, regardless of what they are and what they're about, I think ultimately good art and good beauty, like when we see goodness and beauty in the world, they ultimately point to our good creator who is with us and loves us, and we can enjoy good, you know, well done media. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we can be in a world where that is something that's valuable, right? Before Jesus came, I mean, yes, there was some of that, but the arts weren't necessarily a thing, right? In the same regard, because
No, you're right.
I mean, it just,
Well, it was monasteries that developed like music notation.
yeah. So I don't know. I just think about that, and that it's a good and beautiful thing that we have art, and that we can enjoy it and appreciate it in the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, good art is made by people who are made in the image of the Lord. Whether or not they realize it.
It's like God made us to appreciate beauty. Because maybe he appreciates beauty as well.
Connor.
What a concept.
Connor.
What?
You're beautiful.
You're
Beautiful. You're beautiful. It's true.
Oh, I should have seen that coming. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Nailed it.
I didn't realize I stepped on a trigger.
That's so great. Yeah.
Also, the fact you guys were so insane.
No, a different band.
Yeah, they were in.
Yeah, that had Nick Cage and Matthew McConaughey and
Okay, yeah, that was funny. He was like the 5 members of NSYNC.
the 5 original members.
And we were
of
like,
NSYNC.
wait, is NSYNC really gonna announce this award?
they
Then it was
haven't-
like,
No, I'm thinking of the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys had like a new album released in the 2010s, like 2019.
You know what? The Backstreet Boys are going to be singing in
All right.
in 40 years.
What's that?
My back's not all right.
da-na-na-na. Ah!
Oh my gosh, I broke my back again.
I think something to redeem for me as I was watching the show is I couldn't help but like feel for all the people who got nominated that didn't win. Like to be in that moment, and especially like because it's hard because it's a televised event, but
You know, as soon as they
like
announce the answer,
because they're like
yeah,
this
yeah.
person won, and then they walk to the front, and then it like shows the people who didn't win, like, and they have to like put on a face, you know, and be like act like they're like super pumped for the person that just won, even though they're really disappointed too about losing, and I'm sure that's mixed emotions. Just like I can imagine how I've felt when I've been up for different either nominations or recognitions or whatever, and not ultimately winning that.
You
and
almost
seeing
got an
somebody
Oscar?
else. No, but just like different,
Not almost.
like
you
different. I was up for a Grammy once. No, not even close.
No, maybe a Dove Award.
Dove Award. No, not even close to that either.
What's the one from The Office?
A Dundee.
A Dundee.
I do have a Dundee.
You have a Dundee?
I do
I have
have
an
a
award.
Dundee.
I have an award. It was given to me by my wife. It's an award for adulting.
Wow.
It's a trophy.
Well done.
I got a trophy for adulting.
Proud of you.
Thanks, babe.
It makes sense.
Is that what hanky panky is?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I
Priscilla,
told you it's a board game.
Priscilla, Jake wouldn't tell us what hanky panky is on the Elemental episode. So no. Okay.
It's a hidden secret.
Maybe when we're older, Jordan.
Yeah.
It's
maybe
a part
when
of
we're
the
older.
secret marriage club.
The Secret Marriage Club. Fair enough.
Do you have a secret handshake?
No,
It's called
it's
hanky
called
panky.
hanky panky.
No, but so here's my redeem. So my redeem is in the midst of loss. I think this, and as I'm sure other people can sympathize with the actors or the directors or the whoever that didn't ultimately win. They got nominated, which is cool to get nominated, right? Like just being nominated is a tremendous honor, like because you're like the top, because they have 5 nominations in each category. You're like the top 5 out of however many movies came out
A lot.
this last year, which is incredible, to be the top 5. But when you're like there and you're dressed up and you're there and you probably have an acceptance speech like written. A lot of people had it printed out, they probably had one that you prepared and you thought through and you put in your pocket, and to kind of like be sitting in that loss, I think is I don't know if it's a bummer, but to process through that for us. And I think like what you were talking about, well, what we've all talked about, but especially you, Jacob, when you were talking about Emma Stone's speech and about the humility in that and recognizing others and celebrating the other nominees in the category as well, and saying how in awe you are of them, right? I think of like the whole passage in Philippians 2 about the humility of Christ, but kind of starts off with the do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, rather in humility value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. I think that's obviously it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's really freeing when we practice that.
We practice it correctly.
Yeah.
As in not trashing ourselves, but actually elevating the other.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Celebrating others the same that we would celebrate ourselves. And I remember in my friend's, so Ryan, if you're listening to this, shout out to you. In my friend's vows on his wedding day, he talked about, one of the things that he said was, I'll celebrate like your victories or your wins or something like that greater than my own.
I love
or like
that.
prioritize that or something like that. And I was like, oh, so Ryan, if you're listening to this,
Babe, I'm going to
That
change
hit
my
me.
vows. I like that one. I'm going to change it to that.
and I was like, oh, that's really good. So I think that's something that as we look at what true community is and true relationship and true living, like true freedom, I think that's actually our truest freedom in that. And I think that when we are able to remind people that is ultimately what Christ has demonstrated for us, that the path that Christ walked for us ultimately, and that I think we're only able to live out that truly when we, just like Philippians 2 talks about, when we imitate Christ's humility in the way, when we recognize that the Savior, the creator of the world, took on that same humility and demonstrated it to the nth degree, as in like, right, being made in human likeness, and he humbled himself. How? By becoming obedient to death. Not just death, but death on a cross.
Just the worst death
Right.
in human history.
Right. And I think that again is our deepest freedom and joy is when we live into that. And the lie of the devil is our pride. Like it's I need to win my greatest accomplishments so that I can feel significant and then I can feel really good about myself. And I think watching an award show like this reminds us that our significance isn't found in what other people think of us, but it's found ultimately in who God says we are, who we are in Christ when we acknowledge Jesus as our Lord And I think that's the redeem for me. I'm like half-baked idea trying to work this thing out in real time, which sometimes I'm better at doing than others.
You're doing great.
But I think there's that humility piece in there that as I'm sympathizing with the people who lost and who have this giant camera on their face and they're getting televised to millions of people across the United States, you know, like you lost in this moment, to remember that humility and that it's still obviously a tremendous blessing and honor to be nominated as well, and to celebrate others' victories. All these things are things that point us to the humility that Christ demonstrated in his life, death, and resurrection, and that's our deepest living.
Yeah.
So
It's I'm gonna preach to myself for a second.
you better preach it.
Because y'all went to a concert at the hockey game last night.
Yeah.
And part of my reason for not going, I've been really discouraged lately. Part of my reason is I don't want to go watch another dude in their success.
Yeah.
I mean, daylight savings wasn't helping either.
Right.
But part of it is just I've been really discouraged lately, and I didn't want to go watch another dude in his success like do great and just feel really discouraged.
Yeah.
But thank you for the conviction. Thank you for slapping me with the Holy Spirit. And reminding me it's good to celebrate, because you know what? It doesn't matter if he's more successful. His songs are good and they bring truth
Yeah.
and joy in a way that I cannot right now.
I think you can.
Or sorry,
Thank
to the same
Right.
influence that he can. Sorry, wrong words.
Thanks for your vulnerability.
Yeah.
1 and 2. We've all been there. Like I've been there a lot.
I've been there this past couple of weeks myself.
Yep. Being jealous for other people's success,
Well,
or like I don't know,
just-
jealous. Yeah, just like or discouraged and
just discouraged. And
yep,
So thank you
for
for
real.
and 3, to add to Connor's points, because now I'm just going to add to his points. 3, we're happy to slap you anytime, Jake.
Different slap than what happened at the 22 Oscars, but
That is true.
The slappening.
the slapping. Oh, so uncomfortable. So glad that nothing like that happened this year.
Very glad. Well, we got a naked John Cena. Is that really any better?
I mean,
I didn't see
Well, I
anything.
mean, it wasn't an assault, so
I didn't see anything though.
yeah, because it's John Cena. You can't see
Da,
him.
da, da, da. Any other thoughts about the Oscars? We're kind of getting to the end.
Jesus,
Oh.
he's good.
He's good.
Cool. No, I think we have.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, all right, well done. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He didn't see it coming.
Give me one reason why I should unmute your mic right now.
That's hilarious.
Let's add some chicken, some vegetables, and a tortilla, because this is a wrap.
Tortilla. Oh man, that sounds good, man. I'm kind of getting the late night snackies now.
Hey,
Make me hungry.
what's some housekeeping that we've got going on right now?
Dude, we plugged a lot of it at the beginning, but again, it really helped the show if you would go on our YouTube channel, and subscribe. If you have any kind of Google account, you can go on and subscribe to our content. That'd be really helpful. We post a lot of shorts there and the regular podcast as well.
Leave a rating.
Yeah. 2, follow us on Instagram and or Facebook. That'd be really helpful. If you already do that, thank you. We post a lot of updates there, and as well as reels and that kind of stuff. And just we're trying to figure out how to just continue to increase engagement, because we love having conversations with you all. We've been really encouraged. Recently, we've had a couple of different encouraging comments that have come
can
through
I
those.
read one of those?
Yeah.
And while
So-
you're pulling it up, I'm going to try a different method of motivation. So you're going to do it.
Oh.
You're going to go and to all the channels and subscribe to every. In fact, just like, comment, survive. How about that?
Hey, I want to give a call out to my friend Mark. He goes to our church. Why are you dangling my keys?
You will subscribe to the podcast.
Stop it. Hey, let
And
me.
share.
I will subscribe to the podcast.
Let
You're
me-
going to feel your eyes getting very tired.
Dude, I'm already tired. Don't put me to sleep.
In 10.
Nope.
9.
Hey,
Just
let me
kidding.
call out my buddy Mark.
Sorry,
okay?
I'm doing a hypnotist
Dude,
over here.
Mark, I really appreciate your message you gave to me today. Was this today? It's been a long
Yesterday.
day. This was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Okay, no, it was Friday. Today's Sunday. But
Yesterday somewhere.
He sent me this really, really amazing message, and I really wanted to share it because I think Well, one, I hope it's okay, Mark. But he'd sent us a message. He said, I have a lot of downtime at work. I'm a machinist, so I spend 2 to 3 hours writing programs and setting up the machine, and then spend 2 to 13 hours watching it work. So long story short, I've been listening to your PopCR, love the acronym, podcast. Really good stuff. You're all doing awesome. I really enjoy it. Mark, thank you so much.
For real. That's awesome.
If you've got similar stories, send them in, and we'll read them on the podcast.
Well, there you go. And then, of course, you can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and or wherever you get your podcasts at. And as Jacob would always tell you,
there's merch.
There's merch.
We have hats and bucket hats. And trucker hats. And t-shirts. We have our new design for shirts. It's our Rejoice, Reject, Redeem shirt. And again, as we always say, everything that we receive from our merch, from anything, we will be investing right back into the podcast so that we can continue in our vision to help the church have conversations about how God is moving and working in pop culture.
I'm thinking that Rejoice, Reject, Redeem thing. Maybe we should do a limited time offer on that thing.
Ooh, maybe we should.
Maybe we'll just leave that open till April 1st.
Maybe, or maybe we leave it until the start of season 2.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
We're still trying to figure out what that's going to look like, and we'll keep you updated as we get closer to the end of this season, which our April 2nd podcast that's going to come out will be the end of season 1.
Tentatively.
So we will can keep you posted on that as we move forward. Because if you don't know this, March 31st is Easter, and
Easter's coming?
Are pretty involved in Easter. So
wait, what's Easter?
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Easter's coming. We'll talk about it later. Hey, Jacob. Okay. I just want to tell you. Happy Tuesday. Easter's coming.
Shut up.
Holy Week is coming. It's
Holy Week?
Yeah.
Get out of
Same
my
brain.
brain.
Holy moly. Oh, my goodness.
Holy Monday, Thursday.
Jake and I actually borrow the same brain cell, and we just kind of pass it back
Same
and forth.
singular brain cell.
We usually keep it in different spots in our brain.
It's a joint custody. He gets it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and I get it on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Which is why I'm a mess when I play D&D on Thursdays.
All right. Anybody want to, any concluding remarks?
We already did that.
Peace out. Girl Scout. We out. Oscars were great. I mean, they were okay.
You were
They were
close.
long.
You could have kept rhyming.
They were long. I'm not a great rhymer. What's the Parks and Rec? I can't. No, never mind. I tried to do the John Ralphio, try to remember all the rhyming thing he does in the Snake Juice episode.
And then he gets like one word off.
Yeah, and then he's like, Big Ben clock. There's my Alexa telling me that it's too late and I need to go to bed. So,
all right. Hey, I think Alexa's telling us it's time to go.
Thanks again for tuning in with us today. Until next time, remember, God is working even in pop culture.
Even after
Get loved, nerd.
Pop, pop, baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.